Story 1, The Order That Wasn't Meant for Me. My name's Kyle. This happened when I was 19 and working in a 24-hour diner in a town you've definitely never heard of. It was the kind of place that had a plastic pie display in the window and the same 5 customers every night after 10 p.m. I worked the graveyard shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., mostly for the extra pay and because I couldn't sleep at night anyway. Most of my nights were spent refilling coffee for truckers or wiping down tables that didn't need cleaning. One night around 2 a.m., I was standing behind the counter staring at the clock when a call came in. The number showed up as blocked, but I answered like always. A woman's voice came through. "Calm. Too calm." She said, "I'd like to place a to-go order. 2 grilled cheeses and a side of pickles." I said sure, and asked for the name and number. She gave the name Denise and nothing else. I asked for a callback number, and she paused for a second, then said, "He'll be there to pick it up. Don't worry." I should have said something, anything, but I was too tired to care. I put the order in and waited. Nothing unusual. About 20 minutes later, a car pulled up. Not in the lot. Just on the other side of the street. Headlights off. A man got out. He never came inside. He just stood in front of the window, staring in. Not at the food. Not at the counter. At me. I froze. His face was mostly in shadow, but I could tell he was older. Gray around the edges, maybe in his 60s, wearing a long coat that looked too heavy for the weather. After maybe 30 seconds, he walked around the side of the building, not toward the door, just around the side and out of view. I stepped outside and called out, "Hey! Your food's ready." But there was no one there. No footsteps. No sound. Just silence. I waited a few more minutes, then went back inside, confused. But when I looked down, both sandwiches and the side of pickles were gone. The ticket was still on the counter. I checked the front door, still locked. No one had come in. I even watched the security tape later that night. The weirdest part? The tape skipped. Only during that 30-second window when he walked out of view. Just cut straight to me standing outside calling out. I never saw the man again. But the next night, same time, same number, the call came in again. Same order. Same voice. That was the last time I ever answered a blocked call at that diner. Story 2, The Man in the Furnace Room. I used to work part-time as a janitor at a local middle school during college. It was easy money, just sweeping, mopping, wiping down lockers, locking up at the end of the night. The place was old. You could hear it in the walls, creaking, rattling pipes, weird echoes. I usually worked alone, which was fine by me. I liked the quiet. It gave me time to think. One night, maybe 3 months into the job, I had just finished up the gym and was heading toward the back utility wing, where the furnace room and maintenance closets were. That part of the school always creeped me out. It was colder somehow, and the lights flickered more often than not. As I was sweeping the hall, I passed by the furnace room door and noticed something I'd never seen before, a strip of yellow light coming from the bottom. The door was always locked. Only the day engineer had keys. At first, I thought maybe he forgot to shut it all the way. I didn't think much of it until I heard what sounded like humming. A low, slow hum. Not mechanical. Human. I knocked once. No answer. Knocked again. Still nothing. So, I did something stupid. I pushed the door open. The room was dim. Just a single bulb hanging over the far side. The furnace sat quietly, off for the summer. But someone, or something, was crouched in the far corner, just out of the light. I couldn't see their face, but I could make out the shape of their back. pale, thin, shirtless, facing the wall. I said, "Sir, you're not supposed to be in here." No response. The humming stopped. And then, slowly, he turned his head toward me. Not his body. Just his head. That's when I saw it. His eyes were completely white. Not like blind white. I mean no pupils. No iris. Just solid white. He smiled. Wide. Too wide. I slammed the door and ran. Didn't even lock up. Just got in my car and left. The next day I told the building supervisor. He gave me a strange look, then unlocked the furnace room to check. The room was empty. No one. Nothing. Except one thing. In the corner where the man had been crouched, there was a child's drawing taped to the wall. Just one. A stick figure with white eyes. Underneath it, in shaky crayon letters, it read, "He lives in the walls now." Story 3, The Neighbor Upstairs. I moved into my first apartment alone when I was 24. It wasn't anything fancy, just a one-bedroom in an old brick building with creaky floors and weird plumbing. But it was mine, and I was proud of it. The apartment above me had been empty for a while, or at least I thought it was. No one ever came or went, and I never saw anyone in the windows. But I did hear sounds sometimes. Footsteps late at night. A dragging noise across the floor. Occasionally what sounded like muffled talking, though I could never make out words. I chalked it up to the building being old. Sound travels weird in those places. Until one night, things got specific. It was around 1:30 in the morning. I was lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, when I heard the floorboards creak directly above me. Not just general noise, it was slow, steady pacing. Back and forth. For over an hour. I was starting to get annoyed, so I grabbed a broom and banged it against the ceiling a few times. The pacing stopped immediately. Like, immediately. I froze, half expecting to hear yelling or something, but there was only silence. And then, I swear this is true, my phone buzzed. It was a text. From an unknown number. It said, "Don't do that again." My blood went cold. I didn't even know what to reply, so I didn't. I just turned my phone off and laid there, staring at the ceiling. The next morning, I went up to the building manager and casually asked if someone had moved into the unit above me. He frowned and shook his head. Said it was still empty. Had been for months. I didn't know what to say. I considered telling him about the footsteps and the text, but I didn't want to sound paranoid. I figured maybe I was losing it. But things kept happening. Over the next week, I started waking up to strange things. My kitchen chairs would be slightly out of place. The cabinet doors left half open. One time, the bathroom mirror was foggy, like someone had taken a shower. But I lived alone. I eventually bought a cheap little camera and pointed it at my front door from inside the living room. It recorded motion automatically and sent clips to my email. 3 nights later, I got a clip. I opened the file and saw my front door creak open slowly. No one in sight. Then, after about 20 seconds, a hand reached around from the outside and gently pulled the door shut again. Just a hand. I called the cops, of course. They came, checked everything. No signs of forced entry, no prints, no leads. One of the officers did mention something that stuck with me, though. He said, "You're not the first tenant in this building to report something strange about the upstairs unit." I asked what he meant, and he said it was nothing concrete. Just that people never stayed long in my apartment, or the one above. I don't live there anymore. I moved out 2 months later after waking up and finding a single note slid under my bedroom door. It said, in the same font as that original text, "I liked it better when you didn't notice me." You never really think about how close you come to something terrifying until it's already behind you. Whether it's a house you inherited, a phone call you picked up, or a place you thought you knew. Sometimes, it's not about what happens. It's about what almost did. If any of these stories felt too real, maybe that's because they were. Thanks for listening. Sleep well tonight, if you can. And if you ever hear a knock on the back door, don't answer it.